Hello, my family. Yes, I'm outside. Hallelujah. I'm outside. It is 56 degrees, supposed to get up to 63. Happy dance. So, I have some raised beds I'm wanting to put up. Here's the question though. These are 8 foot by 4 foot by 2 foot. I'll put the link in the description where I got them from. There, I'm not being promoted by these, nothing. This is what I chose. I'm going to try them out. They're not the name brand beds, I will tell you that. I think 2 8-foot beds, they're 8 by 4 by 2 foot beds, were $189.99 for 2 of them, and then for just one it's $109.99. They were the most, I guess, reasonably priced out of the expenses of a galvanized raised bed. I do have my other beds, y'all, but I told you I'm wanting to try the galvanized ones. I'm wanting to try them a lot deeper than what are in my regular beds. So we're gonna see how this works. I'm really hoping to get some good results out of this, for one, and number two, it gives me more space in my area for growing, because I am finding, honestly, the more Mediterranean I do, the more I'm finding that it's seriously beneficial to grow more. I like Luke's method on Am I Gardener. I get it. Grow big or go home is what he says, but that's not necessarily you have to do. I'm also going to make this segment on, like I promised you, various ways of growing your own vegetables or having your own mini garden. I'm going to go through each aspect, from somebody in an apartment complex to somebody with a small yard, up until somebody who has a farm. You are unlimited at what you can do. But for those of us like you see here, I am city-county border. I have 0.34 acres of land, and that is all. So I'm utilizing every space. Does that give me a place to have a big backyard? Well, no, because I turned it into a homestead. Now, I hear many people say, I can't do this or that, and I get it. I mean, some landlords are very picky. In that case, you could do something maybe indoors, look up some aerial gardens, or maybe a small hydroponic garden just to work on the inside of your home. So there are so many different ways, and I did show you the La Pot system if you wanted to do it that way. Although I understand it's not cheap either, but these are methods you can choose. I'm going to give you some other ideas if you wanted to grow indoors. Not all is lost, y'all. It's just, what can we do? So first, let's see if I can put this bed together. I'm going to work with the single. I am definitely not picking up those double packs. We have a total of 5 altogether, so I'm going to see if I can do this on my own, or do I have to have somebody help me build these beds up. Now, the suggestion that was done in the reviews that I read was, they said to put the ends up first. It makes it easier to attach. So I'm probably going to do that first. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and open up this box, and first of all, see everything that's in it. I may be getting over my head on this one. If I do, we'll shut that side down and just continue on with the video. Alright, so this is the single raised bed, and I will tell you, I don't know about anybody else, but I really struggle with FedEx. This box looked like a mouse had chewed it up, but then when I open it, I find that it's also packed into another box, which is really good at this point, because I was getting worried. So I'm just going to try and slide this out of here. Now, I will tell you, these are a bit heavy, y'all. So if you have restrictions, do not do this on your own. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make it easier on me. These boxes are already wet. When they delivered it, they forgot one, which was this one. So I had to wait over the weekend just to get it yesterday. So now I've got that out, and as you can see, we have yet another box on the inside of it. Oh, my honeybees made it through the winter, hard winter, guys. Supposedly we got one more coming. I really hope they hang on. There's not a whole lot of them, but I'm so proud to see these girls. They're coming to see me every time I come out here, whether I do laundry or whatever I do. They come out to see what I'm doing, and yes, I talk to my honeybees. They give me a lot, so. Alright, there's that one. Now let's go ahead and open this one up. Let me go ahead and finish opening this and we'll be right back. Well, here was something that I thought was kind of nice. In this package comes a pair of gloves to help put them together. That's kind of cool, y'all. They are on each end because these, I would say, are sharp on the edges, but they got caps over the top, so these keep that from being sharp. They've got these wrapped in styrofoam. So all in all, the packaging is really good, and the fact that they include these is really nice. I'm going to assume this packaging is for the screws, it looks like. So we'll go ahead and pull this out. And then we have our instructions. Nice. Now, I did choose the option of the square, not the oval beds. So we're going to put this together, hopefully, and see if we can. I got to see what kind of screws and all these are. So, yeah. Though it looks like a Phillips. So let me go get a Phillips screwdriver and let's see what we can do here. So, why would I choose to put this together with you and show you how this is done? Basically, I see a lot of channels where they actually show you the raised beds and all that, and they'll talk about the raised beds, but they don't actually show you how to build one. I'm going to actually show you how to build this one because it helps, honestly, to see how these are done. Now, that's not saying I'm not going to screw up, y'all. That's not saying I may get frustrated, and that's the whole idea of this video, is how easy or how hard is it to actually put these up. We see the grains of, oh, everybody raves about the galvanized raised beds. What I don't see is how to build it. So, and my personal review on building one of these. Will this go good for one gal in the country, or will this not? We'll find out. But either way it goes. And like I said, this is not being endorsed, y'all, or nothing like that. This is just my honest opinion. I am trying something new, but I also wanted to give you the reality. Let's see if we can do this. Let's see if we can put this together by ourselves, or do I'm actually going to have to wait, and I'll have to wait till after the rain when my husband is home for the weekend again, so that means I'll have to put this away. So they do say that these will last quite a bit. They're not like the Virgo, I think you call those, or whatever, raised beds. Wow, we got commotion going on around here. That looks like 2 days in a row, basically. But they're not like the coated raised beds or nothing like that. That's not saying these are not going to rust. These probably will rust, but I'm hoping to get a long time out of them before that actually happens. So, I mean, it was worth trying them for me. They were the most reasonable that I could find. Hang on, y'all. Okay, I just could not find myself talking over an airplane. You never know what's going to happen when I am outdoors on this homestead, and I'm not kidding you either. So, we're just going to have fun. And so, without further ado, let's see if we can put this bad boy together. Now, the panels look to be about 4 foot long, so that means I'm going to be doing double panels down the sides of it. They do have bracers in between, like most of them, to keep them from collapsing on the inside. I like that idea. It doesn't look like there's that many screws in this pack, though, so that's gotten me concerned. So let's see if everything is in this thing. Okay, y'all, so I'm looking at this. These are the centerpieces between the 4 foot panels. I don't know if you can see this or not. Let me see if I can get, yeah, you can. So from what it looks like, I told you this is a 2-foot bed. So these are about 1-foot sections at a time. They're going to start out with the first 4 holes like they have in this one, and then it's going to run a second level up to here. This is actually going to go this way. This part right here is going to go into the ground and be secured into the ground. This is the centerpiece actually. I'm actually going to go ahead and put those pieces together and set them aside first. That way I'm not having to struggle at putting up the second layer. So I'm going to put the 2 layers together, set it aside. Those are my walls. And I'll show you what I'm doing in just a minute. Okay, my friends and family, let's see if we can do this. Now the first thing I see is these are 2 panels. Now they have the ridges just like you would put up bridges for greenhouses or putting up metal roofing. You're going to line up your holes over the top of each other. If you can see this, they have these ripples. So when you're putting up your metal roofing, you're going to just line up your pieces together. Now here, you're just going to have to line up these holes the best way you can. None of this stuff is absolutely perfect, but it looks like it's good enough. Now, with these, this is just the bottom runner. There's a whole nother run on top. But in order to get to that, we got to fix this. Now, there's some other things, and I'll try to bring you up closer too. And I will show you once it gets put together what all these pieces are. Now this is the bracket that I told you. This will be my bottom, and this is going to be my top. So this is the bottom that will get anchored into the ground. And I'll show you what they're using to anchor these. It's kind of weird, but basically they're going to be anchored by these long nail screws. So that's what's going to go at the bottom. So we want to be able to install this with that piece at the bottom of our bed. So we make sure we get that lined up. Now, we also have 2 different size screws. We have smaller screws, and then we have a little longer screws. The little longers are for these bracers. Now these bracers go in here like so on the top, the bottom, and then the very top on that one. So those are going to require the long screws as well. So I'm going to be doing this bit by bit, and then in between all the long screws comes the shorter screws that they have a bag of these too. Now before I started doing this with you, I will tell you it took me 10 minutes to sit here and study the diagrams and how and read how they're doing this. Once I read it and took the time to breathe, I figured out how to do this. So it's going to take time. When you get these beds, if you prepare to do them, even with 2 people, it won't take as long as it will for 1. But it's going to be prepared to spend anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour putting these together per bed. So I wanted you to know that right off the bat. And once I get this together, I will let you know, is this worth it? We'll find out. Okay, so these panels pretty much talk to you. They let me know that, first of all, I was putting those screws in the wrong way. So it seems like those bracers do not go up here and down at the very bottom. They're going to be more in the middle. So there's going to be 3 total. I am going to go ahead. It's 1, 2, and I'm going to assume, because there's only 3 spaces left, so I'm going to assume it's probably going to go here in this middle part or this bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and get my bed, push this down, put the other 2 pieces up on top of this, and continue finishing putting this together. Yeah, these panels talk to you. If you're paying attention, they will let you know what screw goes where. It was super easy though. Honestly, so far, this is not that hard. Bulkiness, this is hard. So I'm going to see if I can actually put this together as I go along and see if we can line them up. Now, some of these did give me a problem with the lining up, but it's not impossible so far. So we're going to go ahead and get our next level, which I'm going to see if we have enough room to do so, and work with it piece by piece as I bring it down. So I have 2 more layers at the top. honestly, there is enough because there's two per side. Well, okay, this one has 4. So that's the long side of the 8-foot. Then we have another one this side of the 8-foot. And then we have the 4-foot sides, and there's 2 on that section. There is enough panels to do all this. So 4, 8, 16, 17, 18, 20, 24 pieces or 24 panels is what this whole entire bed uses at 4-foot intervals. So again, I'm going to take my panel over on this side. Okay. Yeah. Alright, so again, here by the bar, I'm going to have to undo this top section here. This one's going to require a long screw because I'm going to be using all of these panels in that one particular area. So I'm going to have to redo this one, pull this out. Like I said, it talks to you. Put this short one so I don't lose that one in here. Trying to make it where you guys can see this too. Let me see if I can set this up better. Alright, y'all, let's see if you can see this better. I'm going to see if I can drop you down. One of my honeybees is coming to work with me right here. Hi, sweet girl. What you doing? One thing, I'm making a big mistake, y'all. I'm wearing a black t-shirt. So let me go change that because they're not particularly fond of black. Okay, so while I'm putting this together, I'll explain to you why I went and changed my shirt. Black or dark browns or anything like that. Now, I don't know how true this is. This is what I've heard. Is related to the colors of an enemy to a bee. They could relate that to wildlife like a bear or something like that. So I don't want them to think I'm an enemy. I want to be their friend. So I'll do what it takes, even if it means changing my shirt to a different color. Another thing that I've been told, don't know exactly how true that is either, but if you are eating a banana around a honeybee, a banana is a scent of a pheromone that they release when they are out for attack. So I won't be doing anything with a banana either. So here we go with this. I'm going to put my gloves back on because I am dealing with, the edges are sharp. They don't have the coating or capping over the edge like the tops and the bottom do. So I will do this. And then again, I'm like me, if I can't feel anything, I just take them off and just try to be careful as much as possible. But what I'm trying to do is make this easier on me because this is slightly difficult for one person. So, start by putting these two together. Small space. Hold up. Not going to work. I'm going to open up this whole bottom of this thing. Take these bigger boxes off of it because I don't have enough space. You're going to need space. Alright, y'all. So, I'm looking at this centerpiece here is where I'm going to be putting another bracket at, directly in the middle. So, I'm going to have to use a long screw on this one. I've got to gently pop them from the other side on up onto the inside of this, line these up because I am working now with the four panels instead of just 2 because they're connected. So I've had to pop this through here, or line it, and I'm going just about every other one with a long screw. So this one here, I might have got away with a short one, so let me see what I can do here, but I'm gonna have to see. So let me get this one, see if I can get a short one there. If not, I'm gonna have to replace it. The beveling on these in some areas can be thicker than the others, so these are, the top and the very bottom ones are pretty flush. When we start getting to these beveled sides, this gets a little bit harder. So I'm thinking, that one took a short. And these will tighten up just as soon as I can get the screwdriver and all to work with this. Right now I'm just doing a brief tacking onto them, and that way I can do this later. So this one here I can replace. Well, no, that's going to be my top section for, that's 1, that's 2. Let me see if I can get a short one on this one. That way I don't confuse myself as to where the brackets are going to go now that I got all these pieces together. That one was a hard one. Alright, I'm going to have to go back on this, and we'll be back and forth, y'all, until we get this thing put up. Did I just do this one? Yes, I did, and it took all this time. It took me about 15 minutes to do this. Frustrated? Yes, I did get frustrated. But now I have my 3 sections. I have my lower end, my middle end, and then my upper end of using my long screws. The rest are all short. So now I'm going to go through and tighten up all but those longer screws, because I'm going to come back later once the bed is built up and put my middle bracers in between this thing. Alright, now hopefully you're going to be able to see this, because this is what it's going to take for this. Holding your panel up, and I'm propping it up against me. I'm going to have my screwdriver on one side and a pair of needle noses on the other to hold these little nuts in place to tighten them up on our bed. So I'm just going to tighten that up and make sure they do not come undone. They're fastened and secured, or fastened and secured, fascinating. Yeah, okay. Way to go, Carrie. Fascinating, yeah, that's what this is. Okay, and now the bottom. I can do this, y'all. I can do this. As my brother calls me, I'm Willow, and I can do this. I'm strong. So, go ahead and hold this one down here. If my head's in the way, y'all, I do not mean to. No, you know what? I'm just going to chop it up like this. Be smarter. Work smarter, not harder. And that's it. Now, all I have left are my longer screws, and I'm going to leave those in place because I got to put my bracers in between. So, that's just one side. Whew. Taking a coffee break, then we'll come back and pop the other side in just like I did this one. So, at least I know what I'm looking forward to. I know what spacers are now. That's going to make it a little easier as to know where to put the long screws versus the small screws, because, well, the instructions are not exactly thorough. So, top, every other screw. Top one would be the small, long, and small. So, that's how this works. I'm going to take a sip of coffee, set up my next set of panels, and this way I know I've got a long platform. I'm going to set all 4 panels together, place my piece in the center, and work that way to make this easier on me. We'll be right back. Okay, y'all, you know, I could have easily just done this and told you how to do it and all that, but I actually got to show you how to do this one. Now, there is a corner of all 4 sheets. This one here is the most challenging part to get it done. So here's what I ended up doing. I put 1 small screw at the top, 1 small screw at the bottom. I put 1 small screw and these 2 right here to intact as much of this as possible. However, this is not going to stop this from moving around. So here's what I end up doing. I'll take my bottom, hold this down as much as possible, and I'm going to flip it over. It's going to shift on me. It's okay. This is what I'm talking about. That's the mess. But this is how I'll do it now. I leave my bottom lip at the end of this. I don't like that it end up doing that. It bent on me, but I can always bend that back a little bit. But now I'm going to reline these pieces here, starting with the 2 first at the bottom. I'm going to pop my long screw in here. Hang on. Get this lined up, back up, right? Pop that right there, line that up, line this up. Because I need to put this through from this way. So I'm going to line them up all together. Get that popped in there. Take my top, pop it around. Holding on to that long screw, I'm not going to put on the nut. And I had just, I just kept that and put that together. But the only way to do that is, I could have told you how to do this, but if y'all didn't see this for yourself, you would go, what? And then turn around and say, well, that didn't help. We didn't get to see it. So that's it, y'all. That was a pain, but it worked. Now I'm going to finish off these last 2 screws, and these are, I believe, my small ones. Let's see, 1, 2, and no, I got one more long one right here. So I got a small and a long. Put my long one here first. Try to line that up as much as possible. Well, yes. All right. A country girl and her gadgets. Can she do this? So far she is. Alright, now the last one would be my small. I'm going to have to make sure line this up the best way I can. Like I said, these don't all line up that great, but they line up. Pull that over. Pop this through as much as possible. If I have to use my screwdriver, I shall do so. And that's probably what I'm going to have to do because it's not lined up right. So, now to find my screwdriver. Might as well show you the ins and out of the whole thing, y'all. Working at it like you do. Alright, and that other one came out because it was too loose. So, we'll just go ahead and put that one back in, and this time we're going to tighten it up all the way. Put this at the end here so I can work with this. Get the nut out. I got him in my pocket, so yes, it takes some maneuvering working with this, y'all, just to let you know. Now I'm just going to go through here and tighten up the small screws, basically. Grab that one, tighten that one up. The next small one is this one. Tighten this one up. And then the final is my top, and I'll tighten that one up. And there's my other second set of panels. So, there's the 2 long sides. You can see how deep this is. This is going to be nice for tomatoes and peppers. You know, this may be a challenge to put it together, y'all, but I'm so far very content with this purchase. I'm not upset at all. Does it take time and patience to do this? Absolutely. Now, another thing that they do not show you in the instructions that I want to show you, you don't necessarily know which side is which. There's no front and there's no back. How I'm going is these folded lips on the ends, the protective edge covers, they're folded on the inside and they're smooth on the outside. So I'm taking that folded edge and putting them inward. That's how I know is which side is toward the dirt, which side is toward the outside of the bed. So that's how I'm doing it, y'all. Showing you as I go the best way I possibly can. Now, let's see if I can do the ends. Okay, y'all, if I was a smoker, I'd be taking a lot of smoke breaks right now, just to let you know. Alright, so, to recap what I just did, upon reading these not so thorough instructions here, but somewhat thorough, that I didn't pay attention, that bar that we just got through doing along the long side of the 8-foot bed, those took all long screws. There's no short screws to it. They were all the long screws to that, because the rest of this bed is all the short screws. So I had to go back and redo all that. Now, this is where it's going to get tricky for one person. These are the ends of the raised bed. Now I'm going to take this, I'm actually going to get my gloves on because that's sharp. So let me find my gloves right quick. Oh. Alright, so if you can see, that is like beveled edges. Now this has got a smooth side on the outside and then that. So this part right here is the inside. This is our outside. So when we go to line this bed to put it together, we need to take our edges. Now I'm going to have to do that on the set I already did. And then this was going to, these two pieces here, are going to go and line up right up against that edge there from, I believe, the inside. Just like so. No. This is going to do it from the outside. If you did it on the inside, these screws would not work. So you do have to do this on the outside. So you actually have a braced edge. You're going to butt these together. Now this is going to be a challenge, and I will absolutely say that. So what I'll probably do is take these two sides first. I'm going to screw these together, and then I'm going to take it and put this side and do it with the other side that I have placed together while it's standing up, and see how that works. So once I get these screwed on here, after I showed you how I'm going to do this, I'll come back and I'm going to do both sides. Then I'm going to try to come back and try to stand them up in place while we work on this and see how this works. Alright, y'all, I'm putting the last screw in there. So on each end, I told you to screw the ends. I put one set of screws on one side of this, making sure that it's going to connect to the other panels. And then I went ahead and did this side as well. That way the single long solid pieces that I'm working when it comes to completely putting this bed together. So if I take the smaller ends out, set them all together and make solid sheets, I'm hoping by doing this is going to make this a lot easier. Some of these holes can be challenging, just like everything that's already, that you assemble yourself. So, but it's not virtually impossible to work with. So this is where I'm at right now. I'm on the last one of this one, and I'm struggling a little bit with this, but once I get it tightened up, once I get this tightened up, it'll go together. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this off, get the other panel set up like this, and then we're going to assemble it and put it all together. And there's the raised bed finished, y'all. It's got 3 spacers down the center. This long screw right here goes in the holes in that corner right about there, and it'll go digging in to hold this bed in place. This thing is actually huge. Now I'm going to go inside and do some explaining about how I put this together and my thoughts about it. Okay, y'all, so I didn't lose the footage on this video. It was about to go dead because it was low on battery, so I had to bring it in here to charge it and then finish this video with you. Now, my future daughter-in-law, she came in just in time basically to help me with the 3 bracers in the middle, and I'm thankful. Now, my review: can one person put one of these beds together? Yes. It did manage to take me 3 hours to do so. A lot of that was going in and redoing some of the work that I did already, and then finding out that I had to go back and redo it. So I know on the next 4 that I have now, it's not going to be as bad because I know exactly what I'm looking for. Number 2, flimsy. Now these are, as you see, that's a big bed. That's an 8x4 space. So, and 2 foot. I'm going to tell you, I did more bending putting this thing together than I'm going to be using to grow anything in it. I'm actually liking the fact that this thing comes up to my kneecaps. So I'm not going to, I'm going to have that much height. I'm almost 6 foot, y'all. And anywhere from 8 inches to a foot is pretty low for me. So that extra foot actually helps a little bit for me. So I did more bending trying to put this thing together. Flexibility, it was hard. My suggestion is, if you are one single person, you can do this. You really can. It can be a bit frustrating, so take some time, take some space, take some breather, and go back at it. Like I said, 3 hours later, mine is complete. However, if you have more than one, I would advise you to probably 2 people would be a whole lot easier putting this thing together. So it can go either way, but if you have 2 people, it's actually going to take less time to put these beds up. I still have 4 to go. I'm probably going to wait on my husband, and if he don't do it, then I got 2 more. I'll put them up. It's not supposed to rain at least until Saturday, as far as I know, and I will put the rest of these beds up by myself if I have to. So one way or another, we're going to get this. So I'm hoping this helped you. Now, I know I didn't get to show you a lot about putting these beds together. I will put in the description where I got these beds. To me, they were a little bit more reasonably priced. Now, let me get this charged up a little bit. Now, this is going to be a longer video than most, because I'm going to show you other options besides the raised bed that I have. You have seen my 20-foot raised beds where they're about 8 inches in height. And now you've seen the 2-foot raised beds that I have that are 8 foot long. The 10-foot greenhouse is basically the same thing. It's 10 by 8. So, and maybe 2 inches wide. This one, the raised beds that I just bought, are 4 foot wide. So, not 2 inches, 2 foot. So they're 8 foot or 8 inches high, 2 foot wide, and the 2 long ones are 20 foot long, and then I have a 10 foot long. So they'll grow some good stuff, but I have to get really low to the ground. The 8x4x2, I'm going to be able to stand up a little better and work with it. However, getting there in between, this is going to be fun because I've never worked with a 4-foot span. So this ought to be interesting, but I can go all the way around it. That is an option for growing your own vegetables if you don't have good land. Now, if you live in areas, and I'm going to show these to you, y'all. Actually, I'm going to wait for a minute, let this charge up some, and I'm going to take you back outside and just show you some of the growing pots and stuff that you can use, even if you're in an apartment, in a patio. You can go, okay, here's some instances. You can go to Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree has these small little boxes. You can grow in these. You can grow lettuce in that. You can grow radishes in those. You can grow spinach, arugula. You can grow herbs in these. They have the, and I have it outside, the mixed sides stackable planters, you can grow small things in those as well. You can even grow herbs in a stackable. That thing could sit on your patio porch, or you could put a PVC pipe like I did down the middle of it and staked it to my ground and do that if you wanted to. If it has to be portable and you're in an apartment, you can use small pots, y'all. There are fabric pots you can find on Amazon. You can absolutely grow in a fabric pot. They have them in 5 gallons, 10 gallons. They get pretty huge, or even down to 2 gallons. The only thing about a fabric growing pot that I will tell you I struggled with, number one, in the fabric pot, if you place it in your ground, for instance, and you leave it there through the growing season and now decide that you want to pick them up and move them to a different area, you are going to hear this ripping effect. Now, what that means is the roots to that plant has now grown through the fabric pot, and it has grown into the soil beneath it. So you will be pulling up some tender roots. Number two, they dry out very, very easy. You are frequently going to have to water them, or find a way to put an absorber or something in the bottom of these pots to keep it moist, because they dry out entirely too fast. They are very much so air flowing that you will not be able to keep these watered. So that was my only downfall. And one of the reasons I bought the galvanized beds is because personally for me, I am going to be eliminating all the fabric pots. Now, if my kids want them to grow in, they can absolutely have them. There's nothing really wrong with them. You can use them, especially if you have small space but want to grow quite a bit. So those can be used. If you really wanted to, you could use a tote and put a bunch of holes in the bottom of it and grow out of it. So there are ways, even on a patio, to grow your own vegetables. There's the hydroponic systems. There's the raised bed systems. There is always a way to grow something. So even if you put up a coffee table of some sort and put up planters on it, if you cannot get to the ground, raise it up for you to reach. Enjoy a plant. I don't care if it's just 1 or 2 tomato plants. Cherry tomatoes you can put in a planter, set it on your patio, set it up on a table, a coffee table, or somewhere, and enjoy just growing a plant. Believe it or not, plants can tend to be antidepressant, especially when you're outside tending them. Start small. I told you this week is going to be dedicated to homesteading and growing, which leads into later on the aspects of canning, freezing, not just preserving and drying, but cooking with our fresh, that we are going to do all of this year. I am going to get very deep into homesteading, the good and the bad. I'm getting very deep into gardening, the good and the bad. And I'm giving you, starting out right now, growing. This is where the biggest part of homesteading is providing ourselves with our fruit and vegetables. This is in the Mediterranean world. This is the of the whole thing in homesteading. Then you've got your poultry, which is your fresh eggs and all, and we'll get into that later. Right now we're starting with just the vegetables and the fruit. So go based by your land, go based by your conditions. Now, our conditions, unfortunately, we have sand mixed with clay, and we have basically ground that completely turns to cement. Roots cannot grow through our ground. So our best bet was raised beds. Now, we did fantastic years for, this is our 6th year, I believe, or 5th year. This is our 5th year, I believe, that we are now homesteading. And for the first 3 years, it was trial and error on what was the best way to do this. And we finally figured out that, number one, we do have to grow taller. So we needed more root space. That was a given. Other than that, we started improving and using better amendments. And now I'm learning to test my pH levels. So that does a lot too, believe it or not. So we could put all the amendments in it, but if we're doing it wrong, it ain't going to work that way. So I am going to check where my pH is once I get my soil put in. I am also, well, I definitely got to do it to my garden beds that have already been established and growing in them. We had the best crop we did last year, so I was proud of that. I am going to teach you on these galvanized beds how to go back to Eden. We're going to show you how to be able to use less, spend less money in soil and use maybe what you, if you had the same situation we have, cleaning up our property in the wood we don't need. So I'm going to show you how to do all that. Hopefully this is helping you. Now let me go ahead and get this charged for a bit, and I'll take you outside and show you in detail some ways that you can grow. Use your imagination and figure out what I can do, where, how can I incorporate this, and can I actually grow something? We'll find out. Y'all, I just went to the mail and I got super excited. This year I am stepping away from ball canning lids. I don't know about you, but I have actually had some, hang on a minute, let me, there. I have actually had some issues with my lids coming undone. So I am trying a new one. One of you, God love you, sent me, back when I was canning my beans, you sent me some 4-jar lids. I'm going to tell you, those 4-jar lids stuck to that jar like glue. It sealed so beautifully. You convinced me to go ahead and order some, so I ordered 200 lids for this growing season. This should be enough for me and hubby, and if not, I'll get another 100. So I might just go ahead and get another 100 because these were super good. So I went to 4jars.com and got mine, and I think they were $61.89 for 200. So it was a deal, because honestly, to get that many lids right now at Walmart for ball, they're going to come out the same thing. For me, they're almost $5 a pack for 12, and that's crazy, y'all. So I went to 4 jars. So I'm super excited. Everything is coming together. Still waiting on my seed haul. When I get my seed haul, you know it's going to be coffee time, y'all. All right, my family. Hubby actually came home early, so while we got daylight, we're going to try to get the other galvanized beds put up. I will be back tomorrow in more extensive video on showing you ways you can grow your own vegetables. This will give this chance for the video or the camera to charge up, give it 100% full charge, and I can go out there with you throughout the whole homestead. Phew, y'all, I'm out of breath. So we're definitely getting a workout out here. And right now, like I said, I'm going to let this go. I will be back with you tomorrow, show you some more detailed planting options. I love you dearly, and until tomorrow, much love from Parton's Heritage Homestead.